everyone. My name is Aisha Surana. I am from MGT Girls School, currently an intern with EduTV. And we have today with us Professor M.M. Pant. Welcome, Professor. He is pursuing next generation learning using blogging, wikis, podcasting, and social networking tools. He is the former Pro Vice Chancellor of IGNOU. He has been on the faculty of IIT Kanpur, NIT, Allahabad, and visiting professor to the University of Western Ontario, Canada. We welcome you, sir.
Thank you, Isha.
So, sir, I want to ask you your views regarding, can India become the next educational capital of the world?
Yeah, thank you, Isha, for that thing. And the answer is an unequivocal yes. It can become, and it will not become just by standing or sitting or lying down, but we'll have to do something about it. Now, as you said, I come from a background of an IIT. So my PhD is from Roorkee, which is now an IIT. I taught in IIT Kanpur for about 10 years as member of the Board of Management of IIT Delhi. And if you look at the IITs in the 1960s, they created people who today are in top positions in the world. So for example, if you look at Arvind Krishna, the chief of IBM, you look at Sundar Pichai, chief of Google, they're IIT, one from Kanpur, one from Kharagpur, and Satya Nadella is also from Manipal, which was at a similar level. So Manipal, BITS, IIT, there were a number of world-class institutions. And today, if you look at even the deans of management faculty of many prestigious institutions, they are all of Indian origin. So the point is that the best of Indian education is world-class. Because India is a very large country and we did not have methods for its dissemination fast enough, the average quality did not be so good. The point that we are talking of is, can India become the hub and capital? And the answer is yes, because eventually we have very good teachers. In fact, as you know, it is only our language, Sanskrit or Hindi, that has a whole variation of words for teachers. Adhyapak, Acharya, Guru, Drishta, all these are different categories of people who teach skills and who do that and who give insight and who get you to wisdom and so on. The point that is important is now we are in an age of technology and things like artificial intelligence and the kind of thing we are conferencing. This way is a very important thing. But the experience of India is also very enriching. So there's a huge opportunity for creating models where people visit India, spend some time here to get the feeling of what the country is, its cultural richness, its variety, and so on, but continue learning on the internet as well. So they don't have to spend 4 years in India in one campus to learn. They can learn with a variety of experiences which are created. So it's only a matter of now creating those experiences and then benefiting from it. Just like, suddenly Zoom got a huge buzz because of the coronavirus. Similarly, we can have our thing and leverage it with appropriate kind of examples. So I'm a great believer that yes, it can be done.
Thank you, sir, for sharing your views with us. We'll take the inputs very carefully. And my second question to you is, sir, that as you said, India has transited from the offline education system to the online education system. And it was a very sudden transition wherein lots of teachers and have to go under training, rigorous training. So, sir, I want to ask you, is there any scope for development in this field of online education in India?
Yes, of course, there is. But what is more important is that we can offer to the rest of the world an opportunity to learn from India. It does not mean learning always being in India, but you learn from India. Especially, see, just like, for example, we made these COVID vaccines, and they are a solution to world's problem. You've seen there's a list of countries who want that COVID vaccine from India. Now, in a similar sense, the other big threat that we are having is the fast pace of 21st century technologies. And as you know, they are going to displace jobs. There are so many reports that so many jobs will be displaced. People will have to be trained for newer jobs. World Economic Forum has this thing. So just like we created the vaccine for COVID, we have to create a vaccine for future unemployment or being future relevant. And therefore, India has a huge opportunity in creating a package of 21st century readiness, the India experience. So we can have people who come to India, spend part in the campuses. So we can have a number of universities which together support this initiative. And then, of course, there can also be something which is done remotely online for those who can't come. See, this kind of a cooperation is a very interesting thing and timely. Okay, so I'm part of the IIT system. So when IIT Kanpur got created, there was a consortium of a number of universities in US which worked together to support IIT Kanpur. I don't know if it's 10 or 12 universities, but Purdue University and other universities, they worked together to help create an IIT Kanpur. In a similar sense, we can have 10 or 12 universities which work together to create a program for international students to come to India. And as we said, 21st century readiness, the India experience. So they can come to India and visit part of it. And one of the very simple practical models can be that we can make this a 3-month program. And in this 3 months, when the COVID is over, so we have enough time for planning. So when the COVID is over, when the visa restrictions are lifted, we can create a nice 3-month program of which 10 weeks are teaching. This teaching is happening from Monday to Friday, and the weekends are left for traveling from one destination to another and for catching up and seeing the rest of India as well. And we put here completely modern topics, something which is a challenge to the rest of the world. And there is clearly no doubt that even if some advanced countries can manage their thing, the rest of them cannot. So I'm giving a tentative set of things that which we can get started. So first week is the challenges of the 21st century and how to respond to them. The second week can be becoming a more effective learner, because as you just now said, the tools and techniques of learning today are very different, and we will need to tell them how to learn from a mobile app, from books, from WhatsApp, from this thing, whatever. Third is going to be a journey into the self. So this is what India is known for. And you know the modern word, Ken Robinson had a thing called element, the Japanese have a thing called ikigai, and we have our own yoga and these kind of things. So we'll have the third week for that. The fourth week, we can get them into whatever they might want, get them to say what would they want to know from the rest of the time that they are in India. And then we can have more stress. So you must have heard this World Economic Forum has given a set of 10 skills which everybody must know, from critical thinking, this thing. So 1 week can be 5 of those skills. 1 week can be another 5 of those skills. 1 week can be computational thinking. 1 week can be making sense of artificial intelligence. One thing can be deep learning of AI, etc. And we could conclude with quantum readiness, because now we are talking of quantum technologies being there, and all countries need a quantum-ready workforce. Now, one of the things I want to say is skeptics would say that, but we are not the most advanced in these technologies. And I want to emphasize that teaching is different from being a practitioner. Firstly, not being advanced. Now, we are all talking of quantum technologies today. C.V. Raman got the Nobel Prize in 1930 for establishing a quantum effect called the Raman effect. Satyen Bose was working with Einstein on what is called Bose-Einstein condensate. A whole set of particles are called bosons. And Higgs boson got a lot of this thing. Unfortunately, Satyen Bose himself didn't get a Nobel Prize, but a whole category of particles in the world are named after him as bosons. And more recently, Love Grover, who studied from IIT Delhi, he has created a quantum algorithm called Grover's algorithm. So it isn't as if we are passive observers lying in some ancient age, etc. But most important is that teaching is a different activity from developing. And the teacher is an explainer, a motivator, somebody who can get you to do those things. He may not be the researcher himself. And this is very important. An expert can demonstrate his or her expertise. But a teacher can make an expert out of an ignorant person. So it takes an ignorant person, makes an informed person, better informed person, and then finally an expert. And therefore, I feel that India is in a very good position because we have very good teachers. And when I was in IIT Kanpur, almost every teacher was somebody who had taught abroad before they came to IIT Kanpur. So we have world-class teachers, and we're talking only about needing 10, 15 of them. We're not saying that we need hundreds of them. 10, 15 people who are world-class can create an experience. People will come here and they will represent them. And it's something like educational tourism, if you might want to say. It is also about learning something. And we're talking of the most advanced things. See, we're not saying come here to learn only. If people are interested to come here to learn about the Vedas, they are of course welcome. But if we are looking, and I'm drawing the analogy with our creating the sort of vaccine for COVID, we talked of an international problem, global problem, current problem. And what is the next current problem? 21st century readiness. And if we create something like that, that can be a very, very interesting thing.
So, sir, as you said, developing is different from teaching.
Yes.
So my next question to you is, sir, that due to e-learning and introduction of e-learning, more emphasis is given on practical learning and conceptual learning. So, and new ways of assessment in the field of school in different educational institutions. So, sir, what are the different ways of assessment of an individual in total, which emphasizes on conceptual learning?
See, this will be all kinds of things. One thing that people have missed when they think of computer-based learning and they think of a real-world learning, they think of these as two different things. But what has changed, and nobody noticed it, is what is called cloud computing. So today, everything that you will learn, you will do on the cloud. Even the latest topic called quantum computing is available on the cloud. I don't have to have installed. See, like when we were there, IIT had one IBM computer, IIT Delhi had an ICL computer, somebody else. You don't need any of all this is in the cloud. So we're talking about, as I said, futuristic thing. So whatever, now, as you said, well, how do you assess? You do something. If you're technical, there's something called GitHub nowadays, etc. You put your stuff there and people can see it. So you can be in one part of India, and you put your stuff in the cloud and I can see it from another part. And I can see everything with augmented reality, virtual reality, with presence, all this can be done. But if you remember my first sentence, you must be willing to do it. It won't just happen. But if you decide to do it, in a few months' time, you can do wonders.
Thank you, sir, for sharing your views with us.
Yeah.
It was really great having you, and it's very glad you took out your precious time to share your peace of mind with us. And I hope all the students and people who will watch this will benefit from what you have shared today. So
Sure.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Isha, for this thing. I hope you found it useful. Best wishes.
Sir, as a person, as a student myself, I am a 12th standard student. As a student myself, I really learned a lot today.
Okay, thank
So,
you.
thank you very much, sir. It's been an honor to be with you today. Thank you.
Thank you.